Hey guys, alright, so, it's almost bedtime, and I wanted to do this video on something I watched today. I usually don't watch a lot of television. Usually the kids have it on some cartoons or something where it's off, but they took an extra long, actually a later nap than usual. So I ended up watching Dr. Phil. The title was Mommy Confessions. So I was like, oh, this might be interesting. Well, mom number one was out, and she had a 7-year-old son who she adopted. She had, I think, 2 or 3 other kids of her own, but she adopted the little boy. He's 7 years old. And this woman was confessing how she disciplines her son. And it actually showed videotape of how she disciplines him, and it was really shocking to me that they allowed something like that to be shown on TV. They didn't show the little boy's face, thank goodness, because that could destroy his future. People could look at him in a different way, you know, stuff like that. First of all, she adopted this little boy from Russia out of a really bad situation in an orphanage there. So, you know, thinking of doing a good deed, I personally think that she felt that this kid owed her big time for doing this. And so when he messes up, you know, when he did something bad, like a typical 7-year-old little boy does, she disciplined him very harsh. She said, first, she would give him timeouts or spank him. That, to me, is not that big of a deal. Depending on the extreme of it, timeouts are good. I do timeouts. I feel that gives the child some time to think about what they've done. Maybe taking something away from them that they enjoy for a little bit and then giving it back when they understand what the problem is that they had done wrong. But then she led it to doing jumping jacks, exercise, you know, pushing him to the limit. Like, she compared it to like doing it like a football coach or a wrestling coach, and I just don't agree to that, because you're their mother, you're their parent, you're not their coach. So it's something that's completely different. She also did wall sits, and that was in her comparison to the coaching situation, and I just don't see any reason to do that. There's always some other kind of solution. Well, then in the videotape, which was really shocking, I actually cringed and I cried for this little boy because he was screaming so bad. So the little boy came home, and he had gotten in trouble like 3 times for playing with pencils when he wasn't supposed to, and talking out loud when he wasn't supposed to, you know, something that a 7-year-old is learning how not to do. So he came home, and he didn't say anything, and the doctor had put a note, or the teacher put a note in his backpack. And when she found out, she was very outraged with this little boy, and the sister is videotaping this whole thing. And she takes the little boy into the bathroom, and she sets him down on the counter and pours a huge amount of Tabasco sauce in his mouth, and is screaming at him, like face to face, like just like this, and just screaming at him and holding him like this, and just, we don't lie in this house. You live in this house. We don't lie in this house. And he's sitting there with the hot sauce, like at least a minute or 2. And as she's screaming at him, you know that this little boy has pain in his face, tears streaming down his eyes. His fists are like this because he's trying to be tough through it. And then afterwards, if that wasn't enough, it just got worse. I was like, oh my God. She goes, all right, it's time for a cold shower. I was like, what? Are you kidding me? A cold shower? And she literally did put him in the cold shower. She made him get naked, and put him in a cold shower. And to top it off, she screamed at him the whole time like she did before. And I was like, what is your problem? Like, he's 7 years old. Somebody who does that to children should not have them. I personally was disgusted. And, I don't watch these shows. And apparently, Dr. Phil's wife sits in the crowd. And she made a very good statement. And that was that she took this little boy in there, said that she was going to love him and comfort him and shelter him and give him a good life. And she's sitting there and screaming at him like that and scaring him. It's like, no wonder he lied, because he's scared. He's scared of what you're going to do to him next. That he is sitting there going, well, you're a liar too. You lied to me. You said that you were going to love me and shelter me and, cuddle me and all of this, and that's not love. That is far from it. It's so far-fetched. Then the question I never saw answered. I started doing some stuff around the house because I was just so disgusted. I didn't want to watch it anymore. But the question that he left was, should this mother be convicted of child abuse? Yes. Yes, she should. She should have all of her kids taken away. The husband should not have them, because the husband is the one that convinced her that it was okay to give him Tabasco sauce and a cold shower. So he is, a part of it. He thinks it's okay. So the children should be taken away from these two parents, and they both should be put in jail. They both should be given cold showers every day, and they both should eat Tabasco sauce every day. And that's just my opinion, because who does that to a little kid? And this story totally, just the first thing that came to my mind was a book that I read in high school for psychology class, and it's called A Child Called It. And I don't know if you guys have ever read that. I highly recommend it. It is a very detailed and gruesome story of this poor little boy's upbringing with his mother, but it is a good story. Now, my question to you is, should this kind of thing, the footage especially, be allowed on TV? We know it's out there, but for him to be allowed to expose a child, even if they blur out the face, they know who the mother is, should not be okay. It's like showing somebody kind of dying on TV over and over again. When the Winter Olympics happened not too long ago, and that luge guy who wrecked and died on the trackway, they showed that footage, I swear, 100 times or more, and I thought that was the most disrespectful thing to do to his family and to himself, because that's somebody's last minutes on earth that should not be public. It happened, and when it was shown the first time, that should have been it. After that, they should not have shown the wreck at all. And I kind of feel like it's the same thing, showing a child being abused on television, and then, criticizing his mom. That's one thing, but to be able to expose a child like that, he's already vulnerable. He's really scared, and I just don't think it's fair to him. So do you think that that kind of footage should be on TV? And my other one is, should there be regulations in becoming a parent? I think that if two people, I'm not sure how adopting goes. I'm very unfamiliar with it, so don't don't judge me on what I'm about to say, but I think if two people want to become parents, whether it be by themselves, or adopting or IVF or anything like that, they should have to go through some classes, parenting classes, and I along with those parenting classes, I think those parenting classes, I do think that people should have to take them every so often, because the age, your kids grow up, the kids are changing, the kids go through different things, different obstacles, there's different milestones, and I think that that's very important, because parents become unfamiliar with that age group because you get older and things change, times change, it just happens. So I think that should be a regulation. And then I also think that this world should be able to provide free counseling. Counseling to me is very important. If you're having a huge problem with anger, with anything, marriage problems, anything, I believe that there should be an outside person that you should be able to talk to, but who is professional, who knows how to deal with it. Those are two things that I think that should be available for people, that you don't have to pay for. Sometimes insurance covers it. My husband's insurance covers counseling sessions if you need it for 6 times, and that's it. And then you have to pay like $500 each session. Not that we have had to use it, but reading over his policy, they gave him a new policy, and I came across it like that. So I was going to go over mom number 2, and basically, let me check my time. I'm going to make a part 2, okay?